Hi guys, hi everyone. Cześć kochani. So before continuing in English, I'll first switch to Polish. Także kochani, dzisiejszy live, ja tu teraz jestem z koleżankami, więc to będzie wiadomo po angielsku. Natomiast dla was chcę tylko powiedzieć, dzisiejszym tematem jest edukacja w Chinach. I też tutaj już mamy przygotowane pytania, które wysłaście trochę wcześniej. Także ja będę pytania tłumaczył na angielski i teraz przeskakuję już na ten język. So, I will do continuation in English. So, this is Stella, Drina, and Christina. And today we are talking about education in China. This is our topic. And we have some questions that you have sent before. So, we'll also read through. And we will now wait because I see notification is just sent. So, more people will arrive. We also kind of started in time when I know Europe it's 9 o'clock. Mostly people will go to workplace, but we'll see if there is anyone that we can say hello live. We'll wait for 1 minute, 2 minutes to see if anyone appears. In the meantime, we are sipping a tea.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, because now it's 7 hours difference between China and Europe. So it's kind of difficult now to estimate if there will be any audience, but if there's not yet to someone so can give us feedback at least if we are audible, but as I see if we are audible, we should be. Okay, now we try say something so we also see if the microphone is working well with you.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Christina. Nice to meet you all. Oh, we have one people coming in.
Okay. Hi, Sid. Oh, microphone is working. Thank you for feedback. So, how it works from that side?
Hi guys. My name is Dela.
Hi, I'm Dorina.
Is Drina well audible?
Hi.
How's it?
Yeah, Sid.
See.
Big
Hi.
boss. Greeting for big boss. Okay, so we have at least one feedback. It's good. My apologies, guys. I know in Europe this is time for working to impossible to combine in China. If we adjust to European time, we could have midnight. So without extending and having it well done with a microphone, we'll start our topic. So today's topic, as I mentioned at the beginning, and also as you can see from thumbnail, is education in China. And first we'll talk from perspective of foreigners studying in China, both bachelor and master degree. Later we'll go through kind of Q&A session with girls. I will ask a question how it goes in China from primary school to high school, even university, how it goes comparing if someone studied abroad. So starting from foreign perspective education in China, I compare it with two countries. I studied in Poland in primary school, middle school, and high school. I studied in Denmark university and in China, of course. And what I can say, in Europe, let's say in Western countries, so-called, we are much more open for creativity, for letting students be more creative during exercise. Of course, we have this ABC, unfortunately, but still we have this emphasis for education from creativity. So we are taught to create something, to invent something. Also, we are put often in groups, we have tasks to resolve, and then we have to show the way, the process we've done. Wait, we just maybe move so we are equally seen. It's no, this direction, okay. Half, okay.
I can sit
Yeah. No worry.
a little bit.
Okay. So in Europe we have still kind of focus on tasks, how to resolve, but not only like ABC and giving answers, but also find the way to give the answer. Whereas when I studied bachelor degree, and especially now I study master degree, I see you kind of have to follow ready answers. You have only one key to answer. You have no other way to answer the questions. And especially I'm in business and finance studies with a master degree. There is like fixed knowledge. You cannot like extend. You cannot go beyond. You have to just reply in accordance to the book, and there is no like open space, so you can somehow give your thoughts, outputs like of ideas. And what I feel, it's kind of limiting your creativity, but to the point when I observe Chinese students, in, at least in my campus, I see they are switched off from thinking themselves, and they only think the way they are taught through education, but they are not open to give feedback what they feel about some topic. That's maybe a brief introduction, because now I would like to know how actually it looks from your perspective. I know you studied in States. I know you didn't study abroad, but you studied with this awareness of kind of westernized mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I have two experiences.
yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe starting from right, we'll go with Christina. So we'll do like this. We'll do person by
Okay.
person.
Well, yeah, I studied in the States for junior high school and college, but I did went to elementary school and junior school when I'm in China, right? So in terms of creative thinking, I think it's definitely limited. Like, for example, we have like multiple choice, single choice question, fill in the blanks. And like for creative side, we have like essays, and some open questions, I think, but like it's kind of like half. Yeah, we kind of like we only allow to expand our creative way or creative thinking in certain way, but also like we have to have a like only one answer for some of the questions. So yeah, that's kind of like our school system work. But I graduated from college like 5 years ago, so probably different now. Yeah.
How it looks from your perspective, Rina?
Well, I'm educated within the Chinese style traditional educational system since elementary school, but I've been to America for tour visits, and also I went to a lot of universities. So the thing that I noticed is the time that I visited America is kind of the culture shock for me, because I met a lot of people that's older than I was at that time. They are probably 16, 17 years old, but they were they had already built their own business to save their own money, to get off their parents' home, to get a job, and to save those money for their own dream, like buy a car or something. So at that time, I thought that people in China when they are like 16 or 17, they are all focused on the textbooks. Like we have to work our ass off to get a good grades in Gaokao, and then get to an Alice University to get a good job. So the way I see it, in China we do focus on the textbook and all the fixed answers, because what we care about is the grades, the grades and on the papers. And what in one way we have to do it because the whole system, that's how the system works. And in another way, well, we need to do this because we have to get a good grades to get into an elite university, because China has a really big population base. We have to work, we have to compete with each other to win. Yeah.
And yet, guys, because Gaokao can sound kind of different to you, Gaokao is just mature exam in Europe, and this is just Chinese mature exam.
College entrance.
Yeah, college
Mhm.
entrance. Yeah. So how it looks with your experience, Stella?
Yeah, so I just studying both system. I think because I just have a exchange program in my university. I just went abroad to America for 2 years. Just in my like the second year in my university. So I just went abroad. I think I totally agree with her. I think that the people maybe study or live in Western country maybe see the study as their long-term goal. Like I just so many like um, elderly, and yeah, mm. And also I think student will just work hard only for the maybe the GPA in our compulsory education system. But the most I think I want to highlight the everyone is varies from others.
Well, then my second question, because what you said now is kind of unfortunately still I underline this is for me unfortunate. We have it in Europe. This tendency of let's say ready answers, but just when you especially write mature exam like Gaokao, you cannot like answer with your own ideas about essay. For example, you cannot write your own idea what essay is talking about, but just you have to give in accordance to the key, and we have it in Europe. I don't know if this is the same in China or it's still different. How it goes, for example, if you need to write essay on Gaokao, do you actually need to write any essay?
We have to. It's totally different. I mean, essays in Gaokao are nothing about creativity. You have to follow a fixed routine to finish an essay. That we have a fixed structure. We have some materials that you can use about. They are probably positively political. Yeah, and also you can, just to follow all the maybe policies in that period of time. So nothing is related to creativity. That's a sad story because I had a lot of classmates that they are pretty creative at the beginning, but they used that creativity into some exams, but they failed. Yeah,
that's actually also a problem in at least Poland. I cannot speak of actually other countries in Europe like Spain, Austria, because I didn't attend the school there, but Poland I can relate, like in these terms we are kind of similar.
Yeah.
Then how it, maybe starting from the beginning, how it goes with education, starting maybe not primary kindergarten, but primary school, and then we go like middle school, high school. What is and probably, as I remember, there was a question like this: what is yeah, that is very good. What is the prior in education in China? What is the prior to give education?
Well, I think it's totally different between the distant places and in some, like Shanghai, the most cosmopolitan cities like Beijing, Shanghai, the big cities, the highly developed ones. So in distant places, I've received two types of educational in distant places and also in Shanghai. So I know the difference. I mean, in the distant places, like I just said, that China has a really big population base.
Yeah.
So the education resources are really hard to allocate like equally. So in distant places, people don't get the enough access to a good education. So they have to fight harder. They have to fight for that. And to fight for that or to get a higher educational purpose, maybe in bigger cities, they have to do it in a harsher way to follow all those fixed structures in the educational systems. Yeah, to get a better grades. And I thought is a better condition in Shanghai and Beijing, like big cities, they have better educational resources, they have better teachers, and also they have got um, more chances for them to explore.
Mm.
So especially today, I mean, today, like in Shanghai and Beijing, there's going to be like a smaller population because of the aging problem. So they have like they already have the enough educational resource, but there are fewer people, so they will get it better in a better way.
Got it.
Yeah.
But
How-
Shanghai has like 25 million people. Yeah, I mean statistically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And basically, how it goes, because I know you are from Shanghai, you are from Xinjiang.
Mhm.
I'm from Jiangsu.
Yeah, Jiangsu. How it goes
Jiangsu.
between provinces? Like, you actually touch a very good topic. Like, okay, we are in Shanghai. We are actually in the most so-called westernized city.
Yeah.
But how it goes when you go out of Shanghai? Let's say even out of Beijing, because Beijing and Shanghai are considered
Yeah.
the best cities. When you go even Hangzhou, which is only 200 kilometers from Shanghai, it's also big city.
Yeah.
But how it goes in this, like, even not talking about villages, but like you have Urumqi, you have Harbin, you have Hohhot, you have Canton. How it goes in these provinces?
I think you should ask Stella. Like she's from Jiangsu, and
Yeah.
Jiangsu's Gaokao is
The hardest.
the hardest.
Yeah.
You can tell more. Yeah, like how it goes for even like comparing in smaller cities.
Small city, but because I just from a small city in the Jiangsu province, it's called Yangzhou. Yeah, so
And
I just
sorry guys, just to tell you, small city in China, it's still 3 million people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is small city.
Yeah, big population.
Yeah.
I think the educational resource also varies from like schools because some like the teachers from the good college or they will just attend the better school to maybe to teach the student here because they have the higher college entrance rate.
What is actually making Jiangsu be the most difficult to pass Gaokao? Because this is like, let's say, when you are in Poland, there are provinces that have very similar chances to get through. What makes Jiangsu very special for this purpose?
No. I mean the amount of the school is very large, and there are many students maybe with same age will enter the college at the same time. Yeah, so they are all in a competition.
I think population in Jiangsu province as a whole is really large. Yeah, so
Dense.
the competition is really fierce.
Mm.
And also I think it's about the policies. I think the policies has been allocate more educational resource to Jiangsu province. And because of that, so the students there are facing more competitions, and also they have more tasks to fulfill. Yeah, and the policies see that maybe the government sees Jiangsu as a place as a talent pool.
So now drilling a bit with this purpose of like primary, middle, and high school, how it goes with classes. For example, I will give you schedules in Poland, and you can relate how it goes in China. So starting from primary school, from grade 1 to 3, we have usually just maybe not even classes itself. We have like education considered like with basics, alphabet, numbers, even not like mathematics, just getting know how to write letter, how to write number, some singing, like children are taught to sing a song, like any children's song. They later they have a lot of this art they do drawing, painting. Later, from class 4 to class 8,
Mhm.
there is this period where they enter, like they have mathematics, they have we call it like nature, but this is including like geography, biology, chemistry, physics, and very very basic. Because later in high school we do have advanced. You can choose advanced geography, advanced English, advanced history, advanced whatever major you want.
Mhm.
And later this is related when you do final exam, so major exam.
Mhm.
You choose specifically which topics you would like to pass in advanced topic. So for example, I chose English and geography as advanced because this is my major. When I do business studies, this is considered to be like needed. And the same, like if you go for medicine, you have biology or chemistry and whatever. How it goes in China
Mm.
with this kind of schedules?
I think in elementary schools is the same. I mean, uh, no one in the elementary school can learn really advanced things. So we learn how to speak, how to write, how to count numbers. Um, yeah, it's just things like this.
Yeah, and also in
Mhm.
elementary school, we started to learn the structure of the exam. Like, for example, we have multiple choice, single choice, fill in the blank.
Yes.
We have essays. So
In which
starting,
class?
like math.
No, which
English.
class? Like which grade? Which grade?
Oh, I think starting from the first grade
Yeah.
in Shanghai.
Oh, that is very early.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very very early.
Yeah, so it's like instill all the structures into
Like,
children's brain.
Okay, I don't know because I studied in Poland 10 years ago. Like, I graduated from high school 10 years ago, and in my time there was no like starting first class. You have already this ABC.
Mhm.
You can write also later in comment section how it goes in Poland. I would now switch to Polish.
Okay.
Także kochani, dowiedziałem się właśnie, nawet mnie to trochę zaskoczyło, że w Chinach już od pierwszej klasy podstawówki jest system testów ABC, wyboru. So open questions, stuff like this.
Mhm.
Także no tak jak my mamy otwarte pytania już, załóżmy, bo w moich czasach to było gdzieś tak okolice nawet 5. klasy podstawowej. Wiem, że też się zmienił system szkolnictwa w Polsce, także napiszcie jak to wygląda w Polsce. Also guys, write it how it goes in other countries like Austria, Germany, Denmark, because we name it Europe in China as, let's say, one country, because mostly Chinese, they don't know Europe is just continent with countries. They consider it's one country, and that's why also in the life I relate as kind of one country, but of course I distinguish as a Polish education, other countries' education. And so in China, you start this ABC exams first grade. So what are kind of questions asked there?
Well, we actually learn pinyin first. Like
Pinyin, just to mention, guys, this is okay. This is not like official alphabet like in Korean is Hangul, or in Japanese this is hiragana, katakana, but this is kind of romanized writing of characters.
and also the pronunciation.
Yeah.
We use that ABCs as our characters, and they all hold different pronunciations in Chinese, the Chinese characters. Yeah, and we also learn how to write the numbers, because children will be struggle to instill the meanings or the logic of the numbers. Yeah. So and also we had some classes in related to creativity when we were in elementary school, like the painting, art, or handicraft, like those. But I think maybe in the 5th grades we don't have those. Maybe we have them on our calendars, but those teachers,
this is not mandatory.
Yeah, the math teacher, the Chinese teacher will just,
Yeah.
So you can see in this process, like we were set to grow our creativity at first, but in order to get a good grades, will still replace all the classes related to creativity. So that's a sad story.
And how it looks, especially you have comparison with high school, with college. How it goes, especially when you move from China to States. What was your experience moving from the system education run in China to United States?
Actually, like one interesting thing I found among my friends in the state, especially, is that if they have kids, right, one day they want to raise their kids and let them have education in Shanghai or other part of China, before college, because they want their kids to build a good logic and like good study of math and like like the basic knowledge, because once they are, if they want to going abroad, right, they're pretty much like ahead of the games. So that they think like that's the part where China education is really good at, like building the structure and the basic knowledge of chemistry, biology, sort of thing, and then you have the mind, the knowledge, the mindset to choose the right major you want. But for me, I think the only thing, like, if I could like suggest to implement, right, is that like I would want to have the freedom to choose like the curriculum or the subject that I want to study. Like for example, like in elementary school, yeah, we have like handicraft class. We have like, I don't know, like like probably like sports class, but like I was pushed to have these class. I didn't like choose by myself, you know what I mean? But like in the state, and that's also why I moved to the States to study in high school, right? I studied the IB program, which is called like International Diploma or something like that. And we have like so many different courses. Like for example, we have 4 courses to choose under the science category. We have like environmental science, we have biology, we have chem. Like we can choose like either one of these 4. And also we can choose one of from the art category. Like we have like some sort of freedom to choose what we want to study. And then once we build on that knowledge, we have clear picture and idea on like what we want to study in college, right? And I also have like 1 year that I can choose undecided. I think my freshman year I can choose undecided, and I can experience and learn like a whole set of different like courses and decide which major I want to go, and then can switch in my secondary year, like sophomore year. So yeah, like if one thing I could implement it, that would be the one. Yeah, and then the like my experience about like the difference between the States and China is that I think well, definitely US, like they intended to build the kids' critical thinking since elementary school, while we are building the structure and the basic knowledge of like each different like subject. So it's kind of like different. Yeah, but like I want to argue like which one is good and which one is bad. Like it all depends on like your choice, and like what you want to pursue for. Like for example, if you are like a chem student, I'd probably suggest like in China, because like it's like you will have a really good foundation, right? But if you're like art student, then probably like European school, like American school, are better choice. Yeah.
So what actually is the moment when Chinese, when they enter, especially university, they face choosing majority, they like what they want to do, because this is like when you are in Europe, you have the time in high school, let's say the 3rd, the 4th grade, that you decide, okay, I would like to choose my bachelor degree in business, in medicine, in law. Do you have the same in China? They give you suggestions, or this is rather you do Gaokao, so mature exam, and later kind of you decide?
Well,
they have the experience.
I hate to say this, but most of the students that I met, I mean in my friend circle, they don't choose the major by themselves. Like we take the Gaokao, And after that, we got our grades and we fill in the blanks online to get our major. But it's like an ABC. Well, we have the the number one subject or major that I'm really my favorite. But we will be transferred into the second or the third one by luck. Yeah, it depends on your grades. It depends on how many there are as your competitors. Yes, it's still a competition. So most of the students around me, they just choose the major that had need the grades that is most related to themselves. Like if I get a really high grade, I will choose the major that needs a high grade to get in. But let's say just it has a good it needs the highest grades as is most compatible with my grades, but the truth is I don't like it. I mean the Chinese system and the Chinese educational system, they push you to get better grade, so all the students think that the better the grader. Yeah, the higher the grades the better. So they might think that if I choose the major that needs the highest grades is the best. So many of them just graduate from the college and they found themselves lost. Yeah, they found directionless because that's not what they truly are fond of or passionate about. But they just got a degree and get into the job that they really hate. But in the same time, they don't know what they can choose. And I think the choosing things is kind of really different from the system in the US, because I think it's partly because of the policies and also how the country develops. I mean, the USA is a highly developed country, but China is still a developing country. So maybe the policies still focus on the period that we can, bring our country greater, not on the individuals themselves. So they fix the structure to educate the talents they need as a country, not to bring out the best in the individual. But I think it's getting better in the new generation. I mean, the kids that are Generation Z is getting better, and for the younger ones as well.
Well, basically, from what you said, I can kind of assume also from the time when I was attending high school, especially. Generally, I get my education in Poland. Maybe it's not that common as in China, but also there are, let's say, families. There are people who are forced for better grades. But what is different in China, and I can relate, of course, this is obvious, is the number of participants in school. Like in Poland, one country is only 40 million people, whereas China, one city sometimes is like Canton, it's 40 million people.
Yeah.
Like if you consider like Canton,
Yes.
Dongguan, yeah.
Yes.
And although kind of probably if Polish or other European citizens, they can relate to the education, they could somehow agree with you. It is the same, let's say, in Spain, Austria, Poland, but the only what makes it more challenging in China is just the amount of people on the same place. Like we have sometimes a city with 200,000 people, and this is like you have 2,000 people in one place.
Yes.
In China, this is sometimes like Shanghai, 25, 30, 55 even, considering those people without hukou. And you have these people who would like to go Fudan, Tongji.
And you have to compete prince by prince, like the province.
Province
by province. So it's like a huge competition. And also we have this saying that's one point, one playground. It means that if you lost or lost by 1 point in the exam, you will miss.
Surpass you.
Yes, and also 千军万马过独木桥 is like millions of students are going through one bridge.
Mhm.
So it is definition of Gaokao.
So you can see, guys, it is not that easy with education in China. We tried to say it briefly because now I would like to go to question you ask because to keep the life quite, let's say, short but very like dense with the questions. I think also we discussed the most important aspects.
Yeah.
And now I would like to read questions. There are questions also in Polish which I will translate to English. The first question comes from Jan Hoff, and he asks how it goes with education system in terms of exams and tests in China. But I believe he means like how it looks like the structure in like primary school, high school. We kind of discuss it, but maybe if there's something to add, you can add. How it goes with exams in China. Like, are there more? I believe his question is: are there more like open questions? Are there more like fixed questions, like with ABC
Fixed. Oh, this is funny because we've done some even in Chinese. I mean Chinese examination. Just like the examinations on English literature in the U.S. Just like the same. Well, even to answer those reading questions, we have the structure. We have the fixed structure to answer this. We have this full loop, and like a structured, really fixed loop to answer the questions about, and we have like a fixed vocabulary file or something to describe one's feelings or anything else, just to fill in all the blanks. So what we're taking is nothing related to creativity. Actually, what we do is to write down the structure and filling in the blanks in the structure with the vocabulary the teachers provide us. Yeah. So this is
I kind of like disagree on that point. Well, I didn't went to high school and college in China, but like in junior high school, we had the template thing that Drina just mentioned about. But like I mean, I also have a little bit of freedom of writing. If I can like prove my standard point of view is like correct and it's like like something like valid or valuable. Yeah, I mean, if I can prove myself, then I can earn my points back.
So this is like, for example, you have, this can be even essay in maybe junior school. They don't have essay, but high school more likely.
So this is like essays.
You have essays in junior school.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay.
Just about this lens. And the type of the essay. And also in Shanghai has a different educational system. Also the examination system than other parts of the China. Yeah. I mean Beijing, Shanghai, they have a different system. And other provinces are divided into 3 categories, and they have like national number 1 examination, number 2 examination, number 3. I mean, those 3 kind of examinations are different. We have different papers. Yeah, and I've done some examinations from papers from Shanghai and in Jiangsu, and I thought that in Shanghai the papers is really simple and easy, but Jiangsu, wow.
Well, with this one, I don't have that much comparison from Poland. At least as I remember, we had kind of the same system in every province. It was not like, let's say, Warsaw has more difficult than, let's say, Krakow. I believe we have the same. It more maybe depend on country, but as I compare, we have kind of fixed like same level of education in Europe. So this is not like you go to Shanghai, you have easier. You go to, let's say, Beijing, you have more difficult.
Yeah,
you don't have
I think it's still the problem of the population. The population problem leads to the not so equal allocation of educational resources. So different level of examinations. That makes sense.
Moving to other question, what is the proficiency of English among Chinese? Is English as common to study in China as in Europe? This is also in Polish. I do translation.
Well, this is English is one of the compulsory subjects in China. We have to learn as like a compulsory subject, and it's also a subject in Gaokao too.
Do you maybe I also got? Do you have also like advanced English? So we have English class like basic one, and in Poland we have, for example, so-called advanced classes. So this is like we have 5 hours a week of English, but then we have 10 hours a week.
Well, I think it's it has difficulty levels. Of course, we have this levels like if we're in elementary school, it's really easy, and if we get
No,
into
but
college,
I mean, like for example, you are in high school. We have this system in high school. Like for example, there are people with intermediate proficiency of English in high school, and those with advanced. But those who also would like to study intermediate to advanced, they follow this advanced English classes. So they have, let's say, not 5 hours a week, but 10 hours a week.
Okay, this question is about if we're in a Chinese educational system, we have no choice. Like our subjects in high school are separated into 2 ways. The science ones, like the physics, the chemistry, biology,
maths,
and also another parts are like history, politics, or something. So those to choose from the scientific ones or something with like literature, it's the only choice we can make.
And this is basically the same in Europe. Like for example, if you would like to go medicine, you choose biology and chemistry. If you want to go to politics, you choose English, history, and politics. Yeah,
and in this way, we have no choice to choose the level of the English.
So you have the same English.
The same.
Yeah, but I have different experience in junior high school. So the last year in junior high school, the last year in junior school, because like everybody is preparing the 中考. So but like everyone like in my class and in different, like we have 7 different like 班级. And then like each bansi, they have like student who have different level of understanding of English. So we split into like 2 parts. One is a more advanced level, and another is like more like entry level or entry to intermediate. Like it's like nonsense to have like entry level students study advanced English, right? And also it doesn't make sense for advanced people, like advanced English speaker, to an entry level study. So we split, and then we mix with other class, and like those 7 class was like kind of like mixed up together with like same level of like English speakers, and then we all have the same exam. It's just like we were targeting different scores, you know. Yeah, like for example, advanced people were targeting for like A level. Well, like intermediate people were probably like only targeting for like a B or B plus. You know, like we just have like different objective. I think that makes sense.
So this your experience is very close to what we have in Europe, like Poland, Austria, because these are countries I can relate the most. Denmark, it's the same. So probably also from what I see, can depending on the province you live in China. So it can be different in Xinjiang, it can be different in Jiangsu, it can be different in other provinces. Okay, fairly, let's say enough, because it should be equal as we do in Poland. But I consider China just as a country is just massive. Too many people, and it could be difficult to treat everyone equally. But maybe that could be something improved.
Yes, and it's also more efficient and productive.
Well, this question is like in English. he not this is comment that he asked some question. My apologies, the Icelandic. If you ask a question, it disappeared. Guys, this is also like I set life in advance because I know there is a time difference with Europe, and also I try to adjust to China time. As you see, it's close to sunset, and we actually still have the daylight, but within 1 hour we'll have dark. So if there was any question, my apologies if I can't see your questions. I also took screens of those questions that I could see before. But if there are some other questions and they are missing, my apologies, guys. So the actual question is there a chance that Chinese will pass through such a development as Korean and Japanese to get its own alphabet? So this is actually like you Hangul or yeah. Do you believe like Chinese they could instead of characters use pinyin, because this is actually pinyin is already existing?
I think it's difficult. Yeah, because the Japanese and Korea, they will have the maybe some similar things as the pinyin to represent the vowel and the consonant. But I feel like there are so many Chinese characters. Yeah, so we can maybe represent our pinyin.
Actually, one question that I wonder. This is a very good step from like development of alphabets. I just came up with such question. Do you believe like Chinese could do evolution of language? Like Korean, for example, they get borrowed from English. Like they have isekuri, they have handpon. Can Chinese also get this, let's say, westernized word like from English, other languages? So it also simplify the language to be flexible.
Well, we have done some revolutions already. Like at first, we have a lot of like. Well, in the very beginning of the Chinese long history, we have Wen, and after that we have Fantizi. Like what was Taiwan was still being used.
Traditional.
Yeah, traditional characters, and after that we simplified the writing structures, things like that, into simplified Chinese characters, and also like actually Japanese and also Korean have heritage some of the Chinese characters into their cultures. So I mean, we are the original this part. So and also I have to say that Chinese characters have a long history. This was really rich. So I think it's impossible for us to transform it into a more simplified way.
But what I mean, I just derived the question from the Icelandic about alphabet, but I came up with question like, can Chinese do evolution, but not in terms of characters, but in terms of like Korean has borrowed words from English, like have handipon, isekuri, or computer, like this kind of words that when people in China they speak, they don't have only like, let's say, fixed syllabes, because Chinese was probably there might be question. If there was any question like this, I can ask because as I tell you guys, there is problem. But I came up with question as a person who studies Chinese. What is difficult as a foreigner? I can say this, when you speak English, Spanish, the words are different. You can, let's say, distinguish, but you have in Chinese fixed syllabes.
Yeah.
You have only limited like this 450 syllabes combination, and even not all combinations are going through. Like you cannot make sound of bong or phone, but FONG. Like you don't have it. And what I personally feel as a kind of limit speaking Chinese, that even I can be fluent in Chinese, I can get lost into understanding, if not from context. Also, there are some words, there are numerous words, like you can say 今天 or you can 今天, like, it can be golden field, like, and could Chinese actually pass through such evolution of language that the word like skip this system of syllabs.
Ah, I see. Well, what we can um, do a revolution about this is the part that we teach Chinese.
Mm.
It's like we cannot change the characters themselves.
Mm.
Like like I said, Chinese have a really long and rich history. I mean, this each characters and maybe each syllabus have this own meaning behind it or story behind it. So it's really hard for us to transform the whole character system as a whole. But what we can transform it, I think is it's good because I've met a lot of foreign friends who find that Chinese is really hard to learn. And some of them are use like English to learn Chinese. Let me set an example like 兰语, you know. It's like use the same pronunciation of the English to represent the pronunciation of the Chinese character. Like do you have an example?
If you don't have like any examples by now, we can like
like 房子 house and you can do like fund the s fund plus s like funds.
funds.
Yeah.
Like found s founds.
Yeah.
Like got it. That's kind of intuitive. Yeah. Following up question. Oh, actually, we can see it here. It's in Polish. Do you think that education in China is on a good level? Like the question is, do you believe, as for example, comparing education in China versus Europe states, is it good education or yeah?
Well, I think on average, I think the China may have one of the highest level of education around the world. I mean, if you go explore and university, you'll find the guard of the university might have a master's degree. This is because of the rat race. Like I said, that everyone have to compete with each other to get higher grades, well, this is in one way, this is what people want to do, like to improve their educational levels, and in the other way, well, we have to, because we have to get a better grades, get a better educational level to get a job. And this is like the bottom line here in China. To get a job, you have to get a degree. So yes, I believe that in China we are highly educated. Maybe not in a creative one, or those in the states that's emphasized on critical thinking, creative thinking, or well, development about in the individuals. But on the average level, we are highly educated, especially in the science or in history or something like this. Yeah.
You know, I don't think like the education in China is always evolving. Like for example, we have more and more international school, and also we have public school system. We have like 9 years public school system for people who doesn't have like a lot of money, like investing in education, right? And like we also have private school, like for kids like who maybe want to like better education sources. So like there's a lot of diversity here that you can, you know, just like choose your own. So I think it offers like people a lot of the choice. Yeah, so like if you want to like critical thinking, you know, maybe you can try a private school or like international school. So like at the end of the day, I think it's definitely still developing, but I think like, you know, we have like hundreds paths to run, right? So yeah, like I think we're still in a good shape.
Yes. And I think that education is not just within the schools. I mean, the society education, the workforce education, also family education is important too. So in today's world, especially for the Gen Z and after, the educational values and awareness is different from the before. Yeah. So they have developing some critical thinking skills, creative thinking skills, and also they are focused on the to being empathy, to be love, passion, and to explore the world, anything like this. Yeah.
So basically, what you say, especially with private school, we have also a lot of them in Europe, and basically nowadays, a lot of people if want to have kind of better life, like they want to study abroad as well. We also rather choose private school, small classes. Like, follow-up question: what is private school? Now I will describe what is private school in Europe, like in Poland, and then you will tell me how it goes in China. So. Private school in Poland. This is school where usually class have like between 5 to 15, 20 students. And usually this is not like you have class A, class B, class C, class D, class E. Usually this is just one class of a grade. So this is like you have the first class where there are 7 students, the second class there are like, let's say, 12 students. Is it the same in China or is it bigger considering private school? Like the size?
I think well, I've never attended private school, but like I've heard like the size of the class, the student, like the amount of students pretty much the same. Probably like a minor difference, but like
Yes.
not a lot.
I've been to the private school in my middle school, and well, they have higher educational quality, and because those teachers are higher paid, yeah, and also the students we have a better circle or of friends around us, like because the tuition is higher than public schools, so maybe they're from better families financially, yeah, and we have fewer people in the class because in high school I was in a public school, so we have like 50 to 60 people in the class, but in private school we only have like 30 and under, like 20, 30.
Very important topic that I even forgot to mention at the very beginning, because you mentioned now about the tuition fee in China.
Tuition fee.
I forgot to mention in Europe, like in Poland or in this most of countries like Denmark even, or as I remember England too, we don't pay for primary school, middle school, high school. We pay, of course, for private schools, but public schools are free. Later, university in Poland, in Austria, in Denmark, they are for free. Is it also the same in China, like with education is free or is paid?
Well, we have this 9-year education like for free. The government take all of the tuitions for us, and it has been extended to 12 years last year, I think, and maybe just around these years. Yeah, so we have 12 years of free education.
So before college, I think all of that.
Yeah,
is free.
before college, just to the end of the senior high. Yeah, and in universities, like in public universities, we have to pay our tuition, but it's really low. It's not it's not expensive. Yeah, so it's not a lot of pressure. And if you are the financial condition of the family is poor, maybe the government will give you some your scholarships or support, financial support. Yeah, so I think that's one of the reasons why Chinese people are highly educated, because the government takes a lot of responsibility from this. Yeah.
So guys, actually you can see this is kind of, let's say, similar, because by now, as we have around 1 hour of conversation, the education in China and in Europe, and eventually also comparing states, it's pretty same. There's a question about the education, what is the prior, so we actually answered this. And do you know people who ended education, like studies, university in China, whom you could say they are special in their um, faculty? I mean, Chinese people. Do you like know any of your friends who, for example, graduated as medicine, doctor, or business, and they are successful in their faculty?
Hmm. Well, yes. Okay, I have this alumni from my senior high school because my senior high school is the best school in my province,
Mm.
and he has become the vice president of the Alibaba.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Mm.
And a lot of the students that are my alumni from my high school have a they are just across the world,
Mm.
and they go different places across the world, and they all have successful business. Yeah.
So, as I see, we have not more questions. Maybe that's it, guys. So to complete our talks in 1 hour, because also this is how usually I would like to keep lives, to have 1 hour conversation. Thank you, Stella, Drina, Christina,
Thank you.
for coming together. Dziękuję, kochani, now switching to Polish. Dziękuję, kochani, też, że uczestniczyliście. Oczywiście piszcie, jak macie jeszcze jakieś pytania, też tutaj później przekażę dziewczynom, czy pytania, czy jak macie jakieś wskazówki. If you have any questions or feedbacks, you can also post, live will be saved, so we can afterwards also you watch it. And also I will pass if there is more questions and some insights, or maybe there is a point we didn't touch or I didn't ask a question, feel free to do so. And that's it for today.
Okay.
Because probably if you like us together talking about China, I will invite the girls for future conversations, especially that there are much more topics related to China. And best greetings from Shanghai.
Bye.
See ya.
See you. And